Today, we're going to be covering again the altcoin explosion. Now, if you've been following my channel recently, you would have caught huge pumps on coins like Swipe, SXP, which we covered days ago before its moonshot of yesterday, coins like Aave Lend, coins like Chainlink, not only just here in the DeFi space, but beyond. Right now, crypto is in one of the most bullish and opportunistic cycles it's been in, probably in its history. This harkens back largely to the bull runs of 2016 and 17. However, it's underpinned by a significant more amount of utility, working products, advanced teams with real partnerships, things that these white paper projects of 2017 could only have dreamed of. However, the transformative nature of this market is seeing micro caps become small caps become mids, and mid caps become absolute monsters, as we've seen with Chainlink. Now, I'm going to be going through a laundry list, over 25 coins here in the crypto space that I think should be on your radar. But more importantly, before I dive into those coins, and obviously when you're doing this many coins in a single video, it's very important to realize that I can't go too deep on any single one of them, but I'm mentioning them because they are checking boxes that you look for in a wild and somewhat emotional market like the one we're in today. There's both positives and negatives to being in emotionally driven market cycles like this. One of the positives is that a lot of people are making ridiculous sums of money, and that's great. We always love to see wealth creation. That's a phenomenal blessing for everyone involved. However, one of the negatives is that this wealth creation can come with a little bit of irresponsibility. For example, some of these projects are pumping not based on fundamentals, but based on hype. Anything with DeFi even remotely attached to it seems to be cashing in on some serious pumps right now. And that makes it kind of easy to profile as an altcoin investor. It also takes away from some of the deeper, more fundamental research on technology that might actually be in some ways more important. But there is still a science behind hype, and understanding how to gauge and measure which coins are experiencing hype is one of the critical aspects to navigating your way through this altcoin season. Now, if all of this seems like a bit overwhelming for you to wrap your heads around, don't worry, Elio Trades has your back, and we're going to be talking about some great tools that you can use to sift through the noise and start to size up some different altcoin positions. And then I'm going to be running through a very long list of coins that I think you should at least be checking out, sizing up. I'm not telling you to dive in. I'm not telling you to do anything at all. This is not about financial advice, right? I'm sharing information that I've been using to get ahead and stay ahead in this market. And if you've been following my channel over the last few weeks, you would have done yourself some serious favors. And because I put out daily videos and literally some of these coins are pumping overnight within the span of hours after I'm putting out these videos, I highly encourage you to subscribe and turn on the bell notification. If you don't have the bell on, you might be late to the party, miss out on all the fun. Again, I've spent years making content and developing my understanding of this market. And the reality around moments in the market like this are that they are driven a lot by emotional cycles and hype cycles. So first, we're going to start off by looking at a tool that you can use to understand which coins are being hyped and exactly in which ways. So what you're seeing behind me right now is a site called LunarCrush. Now, I think LunarCrush is a really interesting product, maybe not always, but certainly during the times like this, where certain coins will get a little bit of hype. They'll get talked about by a few YouTubers. Maybe there's a big partnership announcement. Maybe there's a big acquisition, like with the case with Swipe, which of course happens to be the LunarCrush coin of the day. And you got to follow people who are trying to put out this information because you can stay ahead of when these things sort of hit the mainstream like this. And as you can see, it's up 112% on the week. But anyway, as you can see behind me, this is a list of coins that essentially are being measured by their social rank, their social buzz. And it's telling you, essentially the basic coin tracking stats, but then it's giving it a galaxy score. And this score is based on mentions, social mentions, as well as Telegram mentions, as well as a bunch of other different statistics that are socially driven. So you can see which coins are being talked about. And here, Koti, right, jumps out to me because I've seen a lot of people talking about Koti as a payments coin, and they have an active business with a lot of different payments. They're on my long list of coins I'm going to mention today because when altcoins are busting out like this, it's not about just one or two coins. Even though you can play the market like that and have just one or two coins that you want to stick with, chances are they'll pump. Like if you have a Chainlink, chances are Chainlink's going to get the same amount of pumps as most of the DeFi market. A smart investor would diversify across the space, and that would give you the chance to get more significant price action on some of the smaller caps. That comes with increased risk usually on smaller caps, so you want to have a lower position. Obviously, that's kind of basic portfolio management. You can see here on LunarCrush, they have a social volume here. You can see this thing absolutely spiked over the last 24 hours. And as you can see, as you scroll down here, you can see all these Twitter posts that are, mentioning Coty. You can see the social dominance score, right? It's contributions versus total crypto tweets and stuff like that. So I think that, you can also see the sentiment, right? Are people bullish or bearish, right? You can also understand if people are spamming it. Is this a spam coin that has a lot of bots and stuff on it? So I think LunarCrush is like this really, really useful way to understand how socially active a coin is. And for better or for worse, that particular statistic is potentially of the most important in this type of emotional, wild, kind of crazy alt season that doesn't necessarily have to be rooted in reality. As we've talked about in nearly every single altcoin video, there are going to be many smart people in the room that are saying, hey, this doesn't make sense. You should be very wary of a market like this. And that's the truth, right? This market is red hot. It's white hot. This thing could absolutely correct and in theory really should. However, it could also continue for months, or in the case of 2016 and 17, it continued for a year and a half. So do you want to be the person who exits a year and a half before this bull run ends? I don't think so, right? But if you experience something crazy like a 5x growth, don't be ridiculous. Sell your initial investment and let the rest ride on house money. There's no need to be a pig here. You don't need to be greedy. If the market gives you a gift, say thank you and take it. But if you're looking for a tool right now that'll help you get involved with some of these altcoins, I think LunarCrush should certainly be on your radar. And then also something I've been watching significantly lately is this token metrics site, which is an AI-driven predictive price analytic tool. They actually give a bunch of analytics, but I look at their price predictions. So, I'll find a coin I like Coty. So say it's getting this great LunarCrush score. I'll go over to this price predictions tab, and I'll try to see what the price prediction's looking like. And here you can see that the price is actually going way above the AI predictive model. So that might be actually a cautionary tale here. I have one data piece saying, hey, this thing's gonna moon, but another data piece saying, another data piece here is saying, hey, we didn't actually predict this kind of rocket up. And if you look backward here, this AI predictive model pretty much got the movements. Like, look at that hump and look at this predictive hump. You can see the similarities between the price patterns that are predicted versus the ones that play out. And you can see here that this is going way above the price prediction and that it didn't predict another sort of upward trajectory in this near future for another month or so out. And so if that's the case, then maybe I want to approach this with caution, right? So you want to balance your approach to understanding what these tokens can and can't provide you. LunarCrush is free, though they do have premium plans. Token Metrics is a paid service and they have a free trial. My referral code for Token Metrics is in the description of this video. But it's always about taking in multiple data points on all these coins. Then, of course, you get the more traditional sources here, like you get CoinMarketCap, where you're just looking at sort of the charts, if you will, right? And this is a little bit harder for you to understand because mostly you're just going to see something that's already pumped, right? Band protocol we mentioned before, this is sort of like the Pepsi to, if Coca-Cola is Chainlink, this is like the Pepsi, the sort of number 2, but it's way smaller in market cap. It's got an $89 million market cap, whereas Chainlink is I think it's above 3 billion now, Chainlink. Let me see what Chainlink says. So it's right almost at 3 billion. I think when it popped up last week above $8, it was over 3 billion. So you can see here if Band Protocol is, going to be able to deliver, a fraction of the value of Chainlink, maybe a tenth, right? Maybe there's an argument that this should come up to, a 270 million or a 300 million, right? I don't believe this is going to replace Chainlink. I think, as I've made that clear on a few videos, Chainlink is the Ethereum of smart contract oracles. And as we saw with Ethereum, there will be many people who make the case that they can kill Ethereum. Now, seeing this play out for years, I think Ethereum, if they scale successfully to ETH2, certainly questionable as to whether or not that's going to happen. But if they do that, they'll remain in control as the dominant smart contracts platform. You can see with Swipe, we covered this a couple of days ago. If you were on the channel, you would have seen this is not this is actually a few days in a row. It's been over 20% and it just really popped up yesterday. Again, we covered Kava just a couple of days ago. The same video that we did the Swipe video, we covered Kava. So if you would have seen that video, you would have been in good shape as they're both two of the biggest gainers. Synthetics we covered yesterday. Obviously, you're not going to catch all the trains, and that's certainly a FOMO that you want to resist. But having said all that, having showed you these tools, LunarCrush, having showed you token metrics, and now going to CoinMarketCap, I'm actually going to shift over to a site called CoinGecko. CoinGecko is a lot like CoinMarketCap, but they actually just get data on coins a little faster. I think CoinMarketCap plays it a little slow. They're kind of like the big mover in the space, so they try to make sure that they don't, jump too fast onto coins before they're more proven out. Regardless, here we are looking at CoinGecko, and the first coin we're looking at here is iExec RLC. I've been asked many times to make a coins list, so this is effectively like a coins list. I'm going to make a top 10 video soon, but this is just sort of like me throwing out tons of coins as well as research tools and giving you a sense of how to research and get a sense as to which of these coins you might think are the ones you want to get your hands on. For example, iExec RLC, look at this. This thing's dumping down because it just had an absolute moonshot the last couple of days here, up to almost $1.80, right? That's over 100% growth. It's dumped down to about a 2x from there. But if you got in on this thing, I know there was a YouTuber, a few YouTubers covering this thing a few months ago, and it's a great project, right? If we click over to their website, you can see that they're doing decentralized cloud computing. To me, decentralized cloud computing is absolutely going to take off, and blockchain is a great resource for organizing the micropayments involved in that system and the different storage of data there. As you can see, they have partnerships with IBM Cloud, Intel, Ubisoft, Ethereum Enterprise Alliance. They're stacking. I even heard that they have some kind of informal partnership or new partnership with Microsoft. So iExec is absolutely popping, and for good reason. They have the hype. They have an interesting use case. Again, for me, decentralized cloud computing becomes a really big industry in the world of AI. AI is crazy intense, processing heavy, and to actually run AI processing on a single computer is it's pretty much impossible to run these modern AIs that are actually responding to questions and thinking and stuff. That's very, very difficult. You have to build very specialized systems. With decentralized cloud computing, you could essentially empower people all around the world to run powerful AIs in their house, right? You could have an AI making you breakfast and stuff like that, and you wouldn't need to have a 7x7 computer server in your house. So I think that there's a lot that will happen in decentralized cloud computing in the future. So even though this thing has already sort of mooned, if this thing does cool off and come down a little bit, I could see this thing being a good scoop up. Obviously, if you guys are newer to the space, if you're just hearing about this altcoin explosion and you guys do not know about Chainlink yet, I highly encourage you to watch my video on Chainlink. But Chainlink is absolutely a monstrous sort of tip of the spear here in DeFi land, used by almost all the DeFi protocols, and it's done incredible growth, right? If you zoom out of this chart over the last sort of year or so, you'll see this thing go from about 40 cents. It was actually down to 20 in the bear market, and it's popped all the way up to $8, right? So that's a 20x, right? And this is a big project with huge partnerships with Google, with Swift, with a lot of huge international conglomerates. Chainlink is, in my opinion, the new Ethereum, right? Ethereum already extremely expensive, and this will continue growing, I believe, into the top 5, and I believe the top 3. I think this is going to nestle itself right under Ethereum as the number 3 cryptocurrency. With the hype that DeFi's created, Chainlink has become one of the biggest beneficiaries, and so if you're new to the space, I encourage you to immerse yourself in materials about Chainlink. Then we also have synthetics. I did a video on synthetics yesterday. They're tackling derivatives. Derivatives are a $640 trillion market globally. Now, they're not going to capture nearly all of that. Don't even think about that. But if they capture 1/1000th of that, they would have to grow well over 1000x from here. The numbers are just astounding. And so, synthetics has actually been also on a moonshot. All these DeFi coins have been absolutely trucking it up. But it's a beautiful chart. And to me, synthetics, if this DeFi trend continues to hold, should maintain its bullishness because it's a phenomenal project and they keep adding utility that brings new usage and new reasons to lock up these tokens and to own them. Again, like I'm going to keep interjecting this because I know a lot of people just take small parts of these videos, but you never want to overcommit to any of these coins. Any of these coins, a lot of them now have the chance to give you 5, 10, 20, 100x growth. If that's the case, you do not need to put an irresponsible amount of money into them. If it's an amount of money that you would be very devastated if it went goodbye, then you should not be investing it, right? These should all be small bets, which is of course a relative term to you. And the reality is that by spreading these out and by getting your hands onto a lot of these good coins that have good products, good communities, good technology, and like we said with LunarCrush, they have good social scores, right? If they have some strong engagement and community, then you could see yourself as making a somewhat educated hypothesis saying, I think I am making a good decision here. I'm trying to empower you with tools so that you're not just reliant on me to give you coins, that you can actually go forth and learn about how to research this market on your own. Because I could give you fish all day, but if I'm sick one day, then you're not going to eat. So you definitely want to learn how to research. Next up, we have the Lend token. And if we zoom out on this chart, you'll see that this thing has been absolutely beasting it up. Crazy growth. Again, a coin I covered about 2 weeks ago. And if you would have gotten in when I covered it about 2 weeks ago, you would have had, well over a 2x growth here. So you definitely want to be putting that bell notification on when you subscribe, because I'm covering these coins as they're popping in before. And so this one's another phenomenal one, another phenomenal DeFi token, focusing on flash loans and other fun stuff. Definitely check out my video. I did a deep dive on Lend. You're going to want to know more about Aave and Lend, the money market protocol. Certainly one of the better projects in the DeFi space. And as DeFi continues to explode, they're going to be one of the prime targets for the bigger money bags to hit. Another phenomenal project, Kyber, KNC. I did another deep dive on this project. They are a phenomenal resource for the DeFi ecosystem, one of the top DeFi dexes, making it easy for all these dexes to have access to liquidity. I encourage you to check out my deep dive on them. They're doing seamless token swaps, and they're really just allowing for all these DeFi resources to swap and trade assets and sort of seamlessly deliver different lending and loaning products. We also have Ren. I did a big video on Ren as well. Ren will allow you essentially, and since that video, this has actually come down a bit, right? So you don't win them all, and that's why you diversify. But I believe that Ren will absolutely explode, especially if we get a nice pump in the Bitcoin chart, because Ren is responsible for bringing Bitcoin over to Ethereum and all these other assets over to Ethereum, wrapping them trustlessly so that they can get into the DeFi ecosystem. They also have these dark nodes where you can make essentially passive income off of all of the transactions on the Ren network. Here you can see they're calling themselves Liquidity Unchained, but really what they're allowing is for all of these assets to make their way into the DeFi ecosystem. We also have Loopring. Loopring actually partnered with Ren. They're essentially enabling faster decentralized exchange functionality through a second layer scaling solution on Ethereum through ZK rollups, which is the preferred method for scaling on Ethereum right now. If you didn't understand any of that, that's okay. Do yourself a favor, smash the like button, and you'll get right on track. We also have Swipe, SXP. Like I said, I covered them a few days ago. They've been absolutely mooning. Maybe you'd want to let them cool off a little bit. But like I made the comparison before, they have a $100 million market cap. And the biggest competitor in the space, the sort of titan of the space, is Crypto.com, which has a $3 billion market cap, or 2.5 to 3 if you count both of their coins. And so to see this going up to, 500 million or whatever, because they just got acquired by Binance, which is, of course, one of the biggest players in the whole space. So seeing them start to challenge Crypto.com in some meaningful way, I could see that happening, right? So seeing them creep up, get to 500 million, maybe a billion, where Crypto.com is at 3 billion, they would still just be a third of the market cap. But I think this is a pretty safe bet to keep trucking upwards because they've got the backing of CZ and Binance, and it's pretty much the same business model as you're seeing with Crypto.com. Here's their product, very clean. They have an existing payments business. It's a Visa card. Anywhere Visa is accepted, Google Pay, as you can see. This is a clean, it's a clean product here. And with the backing of CZ, the hype, of course, now that it's caught hype, you saw it was the LunarCrush coin of the day, right? And because it's the coin of the day, you can actually see all these extra metrics on it that you wouldn't be able to see without premium. You could see how many shared links, social dominance, spam volume, news volume. Yeah, and then as you just scroll down, you see these insanely bullish tweets comparing SXP to CRO. It makes you realize the growth potential. Literally just exactly what I'm talking about, right? And so, the reality is these tools really help you understand what the world or what the community is thinking. And if you have enough members of the community thinking it, things will pump, guys. Things will pump. Next one is Thorchain Rune, a Binance DeFi coin, which has just tremendously big staking rewards. They had sort of a little bit of a pullback of late. But if this chart zooms out, you can see, nope, not really, not for too long. They're popping right back up, onward and upward. The Binance DeFi ecosystem is considerably less developed than the Ethereum one. And, never underestimate CZ, never underestimate the Binance community. And I think Thorchain is a pretty great example of that. Look at this thing down at essentially 10 cents earlier this year in May. And now here it is at 55 cents, right? 550% growth. Amazing. Again, another coin. As we get deeper into this, we're already looking at like a 25-minute video. So I'm just going to kind of be touching on these, not doing deep dives, but these are coins that I know have interesting products. They have significant communities and they have hype, right? I've been hearing about these projects. So I know if I'm hearing about them over and over again, that they're at least worth being on your radar. Make no mistake, I'm not telling you to buy any of these. I'm telling you to look into them. Digitex Futures is a good example of that. They're a zero fees trading ecosystem where essentially you need the coin to trade Bitcoin futures with no commissions. Guys, I've been like a broken record talking about derivatives, which is what futures are. Futures are derivatives. Futures and derivatives are exploding, and these futures platforms have a lot of room to grow. And especially if Digitex is going to be involved some meaningful way with that, then I could see this being a mover, especially considering I keep hearing about it and it's been doing well. Do yourself a favor when you find a coin like this, check its LunarCrush score, check its token metrics, do some research on the community and use case, see how it's growing over time, and make an informed decision. And remember, I think for coins like this, never more than 1% of your portfolio. You just don't need to, because if it's going to grow 100x, then you don't need to put that much in, right? Another coin that I've been hearing a lot about is called Kusama. Kusama is, again, another DeFi project here, and they're working here with Polkadot. Now, Polkadot is a big project. I'll be doing a big deep dive into Polkadot and all the interesting stuff going on there. But, they're the scalable multi-chain network for radical innovation. That's kind of a mouthful of buzzwords that doesn't mean anything, but the Kusama seems to be a project that has its stuff together and delivering innovative tech. And most importantly, I'm hearing about them from all kinds of influencers. Sitting at 81 million, has tons of room to grow before it starts really peaking out. Again, remember, a coin like this, just all these coins have just been smashing it, right? Obviously you want to buy it at $1, much more than $9, but it's done a 10x over the last few months. That's because its tech is being really hailed as the real deal. So as I've said a few times here, hype is one of the most important things, and Kusama has the hype. So put them on your radar and check them out. We also have Unibright, which has a market cap of just 54 million. Here it's ranked as 131 on CoinGecko. And again, this is a coin with a phenomenal amount of hype. They're saying they're a blockchain-based business integration. More and more businesses will try to integrate blockchain. And so all of these blockchain for enterprise companies have the chance to truly have phenomenal, next quarters and next years, as we get another wave, right? Like we saw in 2016 and 2017, I believe projects like Unibright could benefit tremendously. Again, I'm like a broken record here, but they do have hype. I've been seeing the comments on my videos for weeks now. Oh, talk about UBT, talk about UBT. Leave me some comments, guys. If you want me to talk about any of these coins, leave me some comments and it'll help me understand, again, what I think of as a very important critical aspect here, which is how big are these communities? Because if they're big communities, then they'll be supportive and create that upward price trajectory. Also, we have Nimiq here. It was certainly a very small cap at the beginning of the year, but has had an exceptional year. Essentially, they're trying to make it really easy for blockchain to run in your browser. And that just makes it easy for blockchain to not need to jump through all these hoops to make your money very programmable. So interesting concept. Again, like I said, it seems like they have great tech. And what's most important is that they're building a big community. We also have DMG, which I covered a few days ago. And this is one that really dumped down since I covered it, right? You're not going to win them all, which is why you don't overcommit. But I've actually been waiting for this because I think DMG has something smart going on where they're collateralizing real world assets. And yeah, they were just a little too hyped coming out of their ICO. So this dump down is really going to give me a chance to even get more DMGs at a level that I think is more reasonable. But as you can see, I think they just broke their trend lines here. So they've been kind of a downward spiral. I'm going to wait to see this play out for another day or two, and maybe I can get some DMGs down around here at 80 cents. I'll let you guys know when I make another entry, but I'm not crying when these things break down if I think they have a big future. I'm excited because it gives me a chance to get more of them at a cheaper rate and get better gains in the future. BZRX. This protocol actually, since I covered it a few days ago, actually did some phenomenal growth. Yeah, I think I covered it. I'm not really sure which day, but I covered it back here, and this thing was actually dropping. And I said, I'm actually excited because it's dropping because that means that it's probably going to have some great performance in the future. It's not so hot. And I was right. Again, if you're following the narrative, knowing that DeFi is super hot, BZX, the BZRX token and the BZX protocol with Fulcrum Trade, they are a DeFi platform, which I made a video on, so go check it out, guys. Go check out my videos I've made. I've done a lot of hard work to present this information to you. BZX checked all the boxes, right? right? DeFi, part of the DeFi trend, a lower altcoin that wasn't as performant as the others, looking like it could easily benefit from some pumps of all the excitement around this industry of late. And I was right. Once the narrative's there, you have comparative points there, and you can see this thing catching up to other competitors, and that's exactly what it did for a few days. It's cooling off now, but again, if it cools off too much, you might want to grab yourself a bag because that means that it might pop back up. It's hard to sometimes do fundamental analysis on these coins because even though BZRX might have fundamentals that you might disagree with and say, well, fundamentally, I don't like it as much as this project or this project. Well, if you stuck too much to that and didn't realize that the DeFi trend is so strong, then you wouldn't have participated in that. So it's about diversification, not overcommitting, understanding the risks. It's also Utrust. This project has been around for so long, and it was definitely one of my favorite projects back in the sort of 2017 era. And, all I can say is that look at this chart. They really were like dead, right? They were dead and dying. And then all of a sudden, they've just come on this monstrous comeback. And so they're a very legit project. They're very focused on payments. I think they branded themselves as the sort of crypto PayPal back in the day. There's a lot of payments-focused coins, but Utrust has stuck around and continued to make news partnerships. And seeing their growth lately, I'd put them on your list. Keep track of them. And if they have too much of a dump down or it seems like there's an opportunity there, that's definitely when you want to get in. You want to get in when things are down. Another coin that I've been hearing a lot about lately is Chromia. If you guys want me to do a deep dive on Chromia, let me know in the comment section below. Definitely a coin I'd have on your radar. Look, they've done 33% over the last day. And again, they have plenty of hype. And of course, as we started the day off with Coty, as you've seen them on the LunarCrush having one of the highest scores there, they have an 18% gain. And I've been seeing tweets about Coty for about 2 weeks now. And when people tweet about Coty, say what's so good about it, the responses are passionate. People are listing, existing partnerships, lots of revenue streams. And it just seems like this project is going to continue like it's a self-sustaining business that's going to continue to grow. Their market cap's just 20 million, right? So that's one of the smallest market caps of all the coins we've discussed today. So there's plenty of room for it to grow there. And people kept requesting this trust swap. This one's about, sort of programmable token swaps and timed payments and stuff. It doesn't seem that interesting to me, but it's sort of tangential to this DeFi industry. And so I think people see potentially a lot of hype and a lot of gains there. Again, focusing more on community and hype. This thing is so new. It's only a few days old. So it's still in price discovery mode. So this thing might very well cool off back down to these sort of 10-cent range here, at which time, if it does do that, that would be a good entry point. When things are so new like this, you just have to understand that they're going to go through price discovery. And that might mean that this thing goes up 10x, and that might mean that this thing dumps 90%. That's why you always diversify and you never overcommit to something that's just a baby like this. Then, of course, the coin of the day yesterday was this thing YFI. It started off at $30 and it went up to $1,500. And that's because it's not really that it's pumping this much. It's that it's so new to the market that no one knows how to price it. And it's a really actually clean looking interface, this Yearn Finance that somebody put out, and look at it. This is one of the cleanest interfaces I've seen, right? They have their earn, their zap, their APR, their cover, their pool. And so when you come out with a product like this that's just ready to rock, a DeFi product, publish it to the market, and people are just mining tokens, you're not actually selling tokens, then you can have these kind of effects on the market where the market doesn't really know where to price it. So is it really pumping this much, or is it really just trying to figure out what people value this token at? And now you're seeing over the next few weeks, we'll start to see some more consistency as to what people think this token should be valued at. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I gave you guys some tools, some analytical tools like LunarCrush, Token Metrics, CoinGecko. Tried to explain to you that, narrative matters, that hype matters, community matters. We're in a rational moment in the market. That doesn't mean you should just pick up and go home. That just means you have to try to understand that this can benefit you, but it can also seriously hurt you, because as things go up like this, they can tend to come down. Remember, for every 2017, there's a 2018. And so while this feels like 2017, things can switch pretty quickly. So you never want to overcommit, but you also want to understand that if things are fitting the narrative, that if they have the community, if they have certain boxes checked on their way to being considered strong projects in this current ecosystem, in this current environment, that you could see these small, micro, and mid caps absolutely explode. So you want to keep researching. And I've seen people complain like, oh, another coin today? How could you make another video about another coin when you made a video yesterday about another coin? Guys, there are 5,000 coins that are listed, and there's probably about 10,000 in the total ecosystem because many of them aren't even listed yet. So the fact that I've made, 20 videos or so, I haven't even begun to scratch the surface. That's why I tried to make a video like this where I was throwing a bunch of coins out at you, because there really is a need to do volume of research. There's only so much time and only so much airspace, so I need to be able to synthesize the most amount of information for you. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this style of video, if you prefer the deep dives. Obviously, I enjoy the deep dives. It gives me a chance to present a more nuanced and accurate view of the tokens that are in the market, but at the same time, a video like this allows me to offer more of a smorgasbord, a sort of wide offering of different options that you could be interested in if you're looking for different types of tokens. So let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. Obviously, if I didn't cover the coin that you love most, leave me a comment in the comment section below and let me know, because again, there's only one of me, so maybe I haven't researched the coin that you're most interested in, or the coin that you believe has the biggest chance to provide these gains, these transformative wealth building opportunities. Again, I hope I've preached enough about the risks. I hope I've informed you about what the opportunities are, and I hope this video has made you essentially a more competent participant in this altcoin season. As usual, if you enjoyed this video, if there was a coin on here that potentially benefited you, as a lot of the coins over the last few days have benefited the audience, do me a favor and smash that like button, leave me a comment in the comment section below, and if you're not subscribed, I really encourage you to hit that sub button and don't forget the bell notification, because otherwise you may see the videos way too late. Thanks again, guys, for watching. My name's Elio Trades. You're watching FUD TV, and I'll see you very soon on the next episode.